Okay, hello. How are you? Hope you're well. So, at the time of recording, it's March 13th, Friday the 13th, period. And by the time you see this, it'll likely be like early July. So, I don't know, how does it feel to be a time traveler? Hopefully, you didn't get ripped apart in the process. So, it's Friday. I got paid today. And I haven't smoked yet. It's like a little bit before 11 a.m. I did make it a point to drink some hot tea before leaving the house. And now I'm out. And oh, by the way, I did put a chunk of money into the car savings. So that's out of the way. And I don't know, I had the tea because my tummy has been and instead of jumping to the marijuana that I have, I was like, let me just take a walk. Let me drink some hot tea and take a walk and see how I feel afterwards. And also, I guess another little thing that I guess I'm proud of is that I do have stuff from last night. Like I managed to save some, you know what I mean? Also, last night I did have a moment with Paul. I allowed him to come get me after work, and we, without getting too explicit, we did stuff, and yeah. And I don't know, to some degree, I've already just accepted that he is who he is, and that he's probably not going to change anytime soon. You know, I mean, I don't mean to sound like I'm settling, because I know that I do deserve better, but like, the objective truth is that he does support me in a lot of different ways. And if I know how to ask and if I can maintain myself, it's really not much of a problem. The only real issue is when I'm truly depending on him for something and like whether or not I get it, you know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing I think between us, like me just, because I even said that to him. I was like, I feel like things were a lot better when we didn't depend on each other so much, you know? But I digress. It's Friday. It's really nice out. I have money technically. I'm gonna try my best to save some for next week, to have a certain amount next week. I don't know how it's gonna look, but you know. I think in one of the last videos that I made for here, I was talking about co-creation, and I'm thinking about that in the back of my head right now in between takes about co-creation and how to be a co-creator. And part of being a co-creator is looking at everything as like a potential opportunity. You know what I mean? A potential opportunity to learn, to grow, to understand. You know what I mean? Because I would love to shift into that sort of content mainly. Just talking about co-creation, how to co-create your reality. You know, because a lot of people that come to me don't really feel like they have much power in their life. You know what I mean? And I do my best to try to gently direct people and be like, hey, you know that you could be X, Y, and Z. You could be doing X, Y, and Z. Like, you know, like, but I really want people to understand that you don't have to listen to what other people tell you has to happen for your life. You don't have to listen to the adults who are in your life tell you that life has to be difficult, life has to be hard. Life only has to be as difficult as you make it. Like, sure, there are difficulties, sure, there are challenges that we have to overcome, but things only really have to be as difficult as you make them to be. Like, if I use myself as an example, there's so many things in my life throughout my day to day that I could complain about, that I could talk about and be like, this fucking sucks, this is fucking annoying, this is evil. You know, I could do that, but like, what justice does that do? What good does that do if I'm not actively turning the energy around and making it, you know what I mean? Because honestly, some of y'all biggest downfalls, I think, for my people who go through traumatic situations, is that you just want to keep it to yourself. You don't want to, like, you know, you don't want to share that with anyone, and that's more or less the idea of it. Like, it happened to you. Now it's your responsibility to, like, transmute it, to alchemize it, and potentially share it with other people who might benefit, but you just want to keep it to yourself. And that wasn't the wasn't the intention, that wasn't the goal. And obviously this is just my perspective, so if you don't agree with what I'm saying, that's totally freaking fine. I'm on a swing now. Whee! But yeah, I think to some degree life happens to us for a reason, for reasons that we don't always have the answers to. And when we bury things down and we try to like forget that it even happened, we're doing nobody any favor. We're doing the world a disservice. You know what I mean? You're doing yourself a disservice. Because to some degree we came here for a reason. We're here for a reason, And I think this is unfortunately why a lot of people get trapped in cycles, because we forget, and we're so deep in the forgetting that remembering is like a rare occurrence. Remembering that you are infinite, remembering that you are everything that ever was and everything that ever will be, to some degree you are part of that, is a rare thing. But if you're listening to this video, if you're watching this video, then that means to some degree you're on this frequency, and you're waking up. You're realizing how crazy the world is. I don't know, I'm just being silly. But, But, I mean, that's another factor, another aspect of why so many people aren't where they want to be, because the work that it requires to get to where people want to go is a lot more than people are willing to do. Like, I've been having this conversation with different people, but the reason why most people are not millionaires is because the effort that it takes is ridiculous. It's not because it's impossible, it's because most people are not willing to put in the effort. I'm not a millionaire, by the way, just to clarify. Most people are not going to become millionaires because they don't want to put forth the effort that it takes to have $1 million idea. You know what I mean? And same thing with a healthy relationship. Emphasis on healthy, the healthy part. Like, that's why most people don't have healthy relationships, because the effort that it takes to have a healthy, functioning relationship is a lot. It's a lot of healing. It's a lot of deprogramming. It's a lot of conditioning, reconditioning. You know what I mean? And for a lot of people, that's just too much work. And most people don't even know where to start. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to just get what I can get. You know what I mean? I'm going to just do my best, and whatever happens, happens. But I think sometimes we do have to dig a little bit deeper. Sometimes we do have to put a little bit more extra effort in. And granted, I will say what I'm saying is coming from a vessel who is very high energy, who has a lot of energy to spare naturally. Call it ADHD, call it whatever you want to call it. But that's my reality. So I understand for a lot of people what I'm saying does not sound accessible, and that's fine. That's okay. But I do believe that you can always start from where you are. You could always, you know what I mean? You can always learn more from where you are. There's no such thing as like being stuck, really, especially when we're in the age of information. There's no real such thing as being stuck unless you choose to be stuck. You know what I mean? And that's gonna be a harsh one for some people to hear, but it's the fucking truth. Like, if you are not educating yourself, if you're not learning, if you're not trying to understand, you're the only one who's holding yourself back. You're the only one who's preventing your growth, preventing your success, whatever it is that you seek. You're the only one, because why are you not learning? Why are you not trying to understand more? You know what I mean? And unrelated, but slightly related, somebody was talking about on TikTok about hierarchies and how people who adhere to hierarchy type thinking are also the type of people who lack curiosity when it comes to people who are below them on that hierarchy. Not all the time, but most of the time, people, you know what I mean, people who think like that, they don't have any sense of like, who are you? How do you think? What makes you happy? What makes you they don't have that. They're just kind of like, well, I'm up here, you're down here, and this is how you're supposed to act. And if you don't act that way, I'm going to kind of look at you weird, But personally, I've always had a sense of curiosity. Maybe it's my Gemini, maybe it's my ADHD, I don't know. But like, I have a curiosity for the world, A lot of people lack that. And I think that's also a big factor why a lot of people don't achieve the success they seek, because they have no sense of curiosity. They don't want to understand things. They don't want to learn things. They just want things to flow in a certain way, and that's it. You know what I mean? They're just like, I want money, and that's it. I don't want to learn how money works. I don't want to learn about psychology of money. I just want the end result. And I mean, if it works for you, if you have that mindset and it works for you, sure. But I do believe that curiosity is really important when it comes to success of any form, you know. But I digress. I'm gonna end this here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. I hope you know whatever you're going through is temporary. Miracles happen all the freaking time, bro. If you truly believe and align yourself and recognize that it is possible for you. And I hope you know whatever you believe in. You don't have to believe in what I believe, but I do believe God loves you. I do believe God wants the best for you. And try to keep your head up, try to keep your spirits high, because everything's temporary, man. I know sometimes it sucks, sometimes the feelings really suck, but everything's temporary, so it'll be okay. Trust in the process. I'll see you, bye.